Title: Burglary suspect meets his end in Lancaster. Was it a hands-up or guns-out situation? TLDR: Lancaster police engaged in a fatal shooting with a suspected burglar, who they say pointed a gun at them while emerging from an unoccupied residence. Was the action justified, or is this another incident that deserves to be scrutinized? Let's dive in. Disclaimer: this article does not contain legal advice or personal opinions on law enforcement procedures. Lights, sirens, action. In a scene that could have been ripped straight out of a movie, Lancaster police found themselves face-to-face with a burglary suspect allegedly emerging from an unoccupied home, gun pointed. Or was it? The encounter sadly ended in the fatal shooting of the suspect. But before you go jumping to conclusions, let's break down what went down in this potentially explosive incident. Scene of the crime. In the quiet town of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, officers were called to the scene of a suspected burglary. The suspect, in the midst of his exit strategy, was apparently caught red-handed. But what transpired next is the real question, folks. Police say the suspect pointed a firearm at them as he was coming out of the residence. A move that, if true, no doubt escalates the situation. But here's the kicker: did he really? Bang or bluster? In situations like these, facts can be as slippery as a fish on a wet deck. Evidence must be weighed, witnesses must be questioned, and body cam footage, if available, must be examined. What's the real story here? How many sides to the story are there? And are all sides being heard? Community impact. Incidents like this don't just create headlines, they leave a community questioning and often polarized. Was the police action justified? Is there a deeper issue in need of examining? Let's look at some real-life examples. Remember John from Philadelphia? Similar story, but it turned out he was holding a cell phone. Or Sarah from Atlanta? She was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and a misunderstanding escalated into a tragic incident. So, what's the verdict in Lancaster? The community is watching, and so are we. Final thoughts and a question for you. We know police are trained to protect, to serve, and to make split-second decisions that could mean life or death. But with power comes responsibility. In Lancaster, as in many other places, this is a situation where answers are needed, where questions must be asked, where reflection is required. In a world filled with stories of mistakes, misinformation, and sometimes misconduct, how can we ensure that the truth is revealed, justice is served, and communities are protected? And here's a question to chew on, dear readers: in an era where everything is under the microscope, how do we navigate the fine line between trust in our law enforcement and the need for transparency and accountability? What do you think, readers? Weigh in with your thoughts.